Welcome to the newest episode of Beatin' and Bangin'. I'm your host, Kyle Dalton. In today's video, we're going to take a look back on the weekend's worth of racing at Bristol, starting with the Truck Series on Thursday night, plus last night's Xfinity Series race in the adventurous times of Dale Earnhardt Jr. We'll also discuss a few interesting comments made by Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. during media availabilities. And of course, we'll have the exciting action from Saturday night's playoff elimination race. However, before we get to that, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Pristine Marketplace. You've heard me talk about them in the past. A lot of you entered into the contest to win the Kevin Harvick helmet from them. I'm a big believer in Pristine and what they do. There's no better evidence than what is over my right shoulder in this video, and that's the autographed Joey Logano helmet I bought from Pristine. These guys have a great selection of NASCAR memorabilia, including autographed helmets, die-casts, and even pieces of art from drivers both past and present. But Pristine's selection certainly isn't limited to NASCAR. They have college football, NFL, NBA, MLB, and much, much more. If you're in the market for adding some cool items to your man cave or game room, go check out the link in the description that takes you straight to their site. And for Beating and Banging fans, you can save $10 off your first purchase. Thanks to Pristine for sponsoring this video and for the great products, which, by the way, I'll be having more giveaways from them in the future. And now, let's jump to our first story, and it's from Thursday night's Truck Series race. Connor Zilisch sat on the pole and looked to continue the momentum from his Xfinity win the week before at Watkins Glen. But all that excitement came to an abrupt halt in Stage 2 after he got dumped by his teammate, Nick Sanchez.
Lock it down. Okay, get it rolling when you can. Spin it around when you can. Just roll back down, then take back off. We'll blend in right here where you're at.
Fuck me, dude. Teammates just love wrecking me, huh?
Okay, we'll rebound.
What the fuck, dude? 2 races in a row, a teammate wrecks me. Come on.
That's it, we're frustrated too. We'll just control.
He mentioned teammates because he was also involved in an accident earlier in the ARCA race with another teammate. To his credit, Zilisch battled back and finished 19th in the truck race. The race winner for his second consecutive truck race was Lane Riggs. Listen to the understandably excited rookie as he took the checkered flag.
Checkered flag. Man, baby, let's go, boys! I can't believe it! Oh my God! Woo! Hell, you're a bad bug! Woo! I can sling my arm out tonight. I want to, though.
On Friday, drivers met with the media, and there were 2 comments in particular that caught my attention. One of them was Martin Truex Jr., addressing his frustrated remarks after last week's race on the aggressive driving on the late restarts at Watkins Glen. Fox's Bob Pockrass asked the Joe Gibbs Racing driver if he might be willing to go out of his comfort zone or ethical zone to race more aggressively in Thunder Valley in order to advance to the next round.
Yeah, I really don't know. I think it'll have to just depend on the situation, what we find ourselves in and what's going on, but most likely not. I'll most likely do, race the same way I always do, and hopefully we're good enough to get the job done that way.
Truex's teammate, Denny Hamlin, also visited with reporters on Friday, and during his session was asked about the special guest this week to 23XI Racing headquarters, ESPN announcer Stephen A. Smith, and the reason for his visit.
Yeah, obviously his relationship with Michael is pretty close, and we had a great sponsor summit over a 2-day period at Airspeed over the week. So he came and did a speaking engagement for us, which is fantastic.
So Smith was at the team's sponsor summit to speak. It's pretty interesting to think about the power of Jordan and how he can have all of these big names, friends of his, talk with companies about potentially working with the organization. What a huge advantage to have at your disposal. After media availabilities, Cup drivers hit the track for practice, and everyone was wondering what would happen with the tires. Would we have the chaos of the spring with massive wear, or like last fall with much less wear? Kyle Larson's crew chief Cliff Daniels gave us our first hint of the day.
You'll be completing 35 this time. Your pace is still really good. I don't see any marbles anywhere suggesting tires are shredding. I think it all looks okay. Just get a feel for it. I'm going to keep running as long as you are.
Rubber on the racetrack from the ARCA, truck, and Xfinity cars was allowing the cars to move up and down the track. In the qualifying session, Group 1 was dominated by big teams led by Christopher Bell, Martin Truex, and Denny Hamlin, who were followed by Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. But cars in Group 2 proved to be faster and included both Carson Hocevar and Corey LaJoie advancing to the second round. In the end, Alex Bowman was the last car out and won the pole. Which takes us to Friday night's Xfinity Series race at Bristol that included NASCAR Hall of Famer Dale Earnhardt Jr. running in his lone race of 2024 and the number 88 car that Zilich took to victory lane a week earlier. Zilich's name actually came up early on Earnhardt's team radio when the team experienced radio issues. The team car owner theorized on what might be the cause.
All good now, I think. All right. They got a little Gatorade or something in that radio from last week. They fixed it.
Or so he thought. They hadn't fixed it. The radio gremlins continued after the start of the race, and the driver was no longer in a joking mood and revealed as much when an early caution came out, giving him a chance to try and talk with his team.
Hello.
You got me?
I don't got anybody on two now. How long will this fucking last?
I'm doing.
I'm coming to fucking pit road.
All right, hold on the radio.
After changing out the radio, a new helmet, and attaching the unit to his seatbelt over the course of multiple stops, the communication issues were resolved by the end of the first stage. That's when the driver circled back with a question.
Is this my radio situation the rest of the race? Push to talk on my chest?
Yes, unfortunately, that's what we got.
It's okay. I just wanted to wrap my brain around that. I appreciate y'all's patience on all that. I don't know if you can hear me. I was fucking hoping you could. But I ran that whole first run with nothing. So, don't know what that says about TJ. But appreciate everybody's help, getting everything going. Here we are. We can run this thing out.
A few moments later, the radio issues indirectly came up again, when the team informed Earnhardt that his glasses had come off in his helmet during the exchange. They were delivered on the next stop in the second stage. Incredibly, there was one final radio issue for the night, and it came early in that second stage.
That radio fell down in the rocker panel. I can't turn it down. You're way too loud. Don't yell at me, TJ.
All right, I'll try to talk quiet.
Somehow it fell down and turned itself up.
But that wasn't all Earnhardt experienced in the night. He also had a conflict with Riley Herbst, discussed the Sawzall situation when Justin Allgaier dragged it out of his pit box onto the racing surface, and shared his thoughts on NASCAR racing in the future. He wants to do it again. But I did something a little bit different this week and created an entirely separate video that includes the team radio from Junior throughout the entire Xfinity Series race. It's edited down so the gaps of silence are removed, but anyone who's followed my channel knows that it's not edited or censored. You can listen to how angry Earnhardt was early on, as well as all of the other exchanges he had with the number 88 team throughout the night. One other thing from the Xfinity Series race that I wanted to mention, and that was Jeremy Clements winning the second stage for his first stage win of the year. Jeremy has been really good to me since I started covering NASCAR several years ago, so I was really happy to see the number 51 team up there racing with the big boys at Bristol. And now it's time to move on to Saturday's Cup Series playoff elimination race. And I have to mention the absolutely beautiful backdrop to start the race in the Tennessee mountains. Wow, what a sight. And as has become a theme in 2024, we didn't have to wait long for the action to heat up, as John Hunter Nemechek went for a spin on lap 5 to bring out the night's first caution. On the restart, you could see how the cars tried to migrate down toward the bottom and get in the preferred lane. Alex Bowman, who had led 20 laps in the first 28 races, led the first 33 laps at Bristol, until his Hendrick Motorsports teammate Kyle Larson made the pass for the lead. No one could have known then what that pass would mean at the end of the race. At the halfway point of the first stage, Chase Elliott and Corey LaJoie were the only two cars inside the top 10 that had fallen out, and they had been replaced by Ty Gibbs and Bubba Wallace. After the cars passed lap 100, it was evident that this wasn't going to be the same race we had in the spring with the massive wearing on the tires, as no one was having those same issues this time around. Kyle Larson led for the remainder of the first stage and was followed by Alex Bowman, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., and William Byron. During the stage break, Ty Gibbs' playoff hopes took a hit when he got nabbed for speeding on pit road. The JGR driver had questions for his team.
Oh, we were too fast, section 6.
What the hell is section 6?
One leaving the box before your bump up. Must have just cut radius too much.
I mean, I was 2 red.
Yeah, copy.
So if I'm like, what's the plan for that?
I mean, we'll bump it down there. We'll bump more. We'll double check. We'll get the speeds and bump it down there just to make sure it doesn't happen again.
The second stage was much of the same as Larson jumped out to the point. While there wasn't much passing up at the front, there was some movement through the field. And in those first 150 laps, the biggest movers were the Penske drivers of Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney, who started 20th and 22nd respectively, and had both moved inside the top 10. Also in that second stage, we started to sense the tension rise with the playoff drivers. First up was Ty Gibbs, who was not happy with John Hunter Nemechek.
Fucking idiot. It's always been a tool bag.
Yeah. We'll address it later on.
And then Ryan Blaney, despite improving his position to 7th, showed the pressure was ratcheting up.
Just the 4 out back by 3 up top. No worries.
Okay, just let me drive. Just less talking, please. I can see in front of me.
A few minutes later, Gibbs had more harsh words for Legacy Motor Club.
Man, fucking Legacy. Those guys are just a joke.
Stay focused here. Just clicking laps off here.
Late in the second stage, Logano's progress toward the front came to an abrupt end when he had a tire go down, spun, and brought out a caution. On the restart with a couple of laps to go, Larson stayed up front and won his second stage of the night and was followed by Truex, Tyler Reddick, Hamlin, and Bell. At the start of the third and final stage, Chase Elliott and Ty Gibbs were told what they needed to do to advance.
The last time I'll probably tell you, but our clinch right now is 22nd position, 15 points. So just all forward, just race here.
Right now, looks like we're racing the 19 straight up. Got to beat the 14 by 5 spots and the 11 by 4. So we're just pretty much just got to get to the front and race these guys straight up.
It was much of the same in the final stage with the number 5 out front, but things took an interesting turn when Corey LaJoie brought out a caution on lap 330. During the subsequent pit stops, Martin Truex Jr.'s hopes of advancing took a major hit when he was the second JGR car of the night to get caught speeding on pit road. Here's what he said over the team radio.
Speeding section 9.
Where's that at?
That would be the first green section on the front stretch.
Son of a bitch. Sorry, guys.
165 to go, man. It's going to be a little bit tougher, but we can still make it work here.
No option here other than drive the piss out of it and be fucking aggressive.
With just under 125 laps to go, Larson had led 328 laps, surpassing his most ever laps led in a single race and previous best of 327 in the 2021 Coca-Cola 600. But there was more history to be made by the 2021 champ, when with 25 laps to go, he had led 437 laps for the most ever laps by an HMS car ever in a race. Think about that. Most ever. That final stat was the exclamation point on a dominant night by Larson and his number 5 team as they cruised to victory and locked into the next round. After all the cars had taken the checkered flag, Truex, Gibbs, Brad Keselowski, and Harrison Burton were eliminated from the playoffs. The number 19 team radio was hard to listen to, knowing Truex's run at a championship was over.
How many did we miss by?
It was 0.09 mile an hour over, and we missed by 21 points. If we finished second or even third, we would have made it.
10-4. I don't know if I had that in me the last run, or I don't know if it was just traffic. The reason it went to shit so bad, but it went bad quick that last run.
Yeah, it's just traffic. It's track position. It's a track position race. So once it all gets spread out, everyone runs the same fucking lap time. So the further you are up front, the cooler you keep everything. So anyway, is what it is.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on this episode. I want to hear your thoughts. First, let's go back to driver media availabilities, and what did you think of Denny Hamlin explaining why Stephen A. Smith was at 2311 Racing headquarters this week? And moving on to Friday, what did you think about Earnhardt's Xfinity Series race and all the adversity he overcame? Pretty impressive stuff to finish 7th after enduring all of that. Moving on to Saturday's race, you couldn't help but be impressed by Larson's absolutely dominating performance. What playoff drivers surprised you? And now with 2 former champions eliminated, Who do you think is the favorite heading into next weekend's race at Kansas? Again, I want to thank Pristine Marketplace for sponsoring this video. Remember, if you're in the market to add some great items to your game room or man cave, Pristine is the place to do it, with a massive selection of signed NASCAR memorabilia, as well as autographed items from the other sports including college football, NFL, NBA, and MLB. And for Beating and Banging fans, you will receive $10 off your first purchase. There's a link in the description. Use promo code BB10. Thanks as always for supporting the channel. I really and truly appreciate it, and hope you have a great rest of your day.